like bandwidth on my band, kinda like sound control, where we get with, yo. I like it, but deal cold with what we find, battling with the wits of disenfranchised lyricists. Maybe as we often forgot, but yo, as we segue, maybe Oxbow coming back off or the top of the door with the flow, trying to find it in the moment, like, man, it's like this in the chord. You have a conversation, right? Showing up, showing love. It's all yours, it's all ours, it's all yours, yeah, it's all ours. So this is like the corner stores coming on, crowning more thousands. See corner stores coming out, getting more billions, building bigger, building buildings. We coming up straight through the ceiling, building bigger, music we're feeling. If you know it's all yours, it's all ours. So show love, show love, show love, it's all ours. It's unlikely they say, though we come back around conversations, wish to have more often perhaps, spread amongst the message. Plenty of those between what you find between expert tax return advice, or was it beyond everything? Like you wanna have maximized refunds, or was it time beyond that? I'm more like on some crazy soul said they call me verbal. Trying with that, like moving it for the pinnacle apex with this day to be so incredible. We hope so. Showing up, showing up, showing up. Yeah. It's all yours. So it says like we look on the stores, counting out, counting more thousands. Corner stores, counting out, getting more billions, building bigger, better buildings, breaking out straight through the ceiling, giving out music we're feeling. So show love.
Thank you, Kayla. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our live text masterclass for all you taxpayers. And obviously, I am your host. I am Sims, right? Representing management and social media at large. We'll be taking in all your questions from YouTube, so I hope you guys are tuning in. And I'm not alone today, obviously. I am with the NXCA Network. We will be introducing everyone as time goes on. And let us start on my right, lady in orange.
Hey,
the reformed Nazi. This is outfit.
Orange is the new black with people.
Orange is the new black. On my right, I have Natasha Kulu.
Hey,
yes, babe. Introduce yourself. Who are you and what are you in NXCA?
Hallelujah. What a long conversation. Sims, thank you. Thank you, management, for those that are joining our live. My name is Natasha Kulu, and honestly, I wear many hats in real life. But today, I am wearing the hat of being Natasha Kulu, a curate. I call myself a curate. Okay. I don't own NXCA Network. Okay. I started it. I am curating the network. I am building a network of the biggest and the bravest and the baddest of minds in Africa, so that they can serve South Africans. Okay. They can serve the continent in their knowledge, in their wisdom, and which is what's happening today. I brought you tax practitioners.
Okay.
I brought you tax practitioners, which is why I'm going to hand over the conversation to my...
Yes, and next to Natasha is Uhebi Bushomani. She is a tax practitioner, but she will introduce herself further. Happy?
Hello guys, hello family. Thank you so much for joining us on live today. My name is Happy Bushomani. I am a tax practitioner. I'm the one who will be helping you guys to make sure that you comply and you ensure that your tax liability is as low as possible. And if possible, you get money back from us.
Hallelujah! Hallelujah! And next to Uhebi, guys, as you heard, the sounds that serenaded us as we opened this tax masterclass ceremony. Sir, came on. Italian Jaco, it's too much. I even heard you improvising somewhere, putting in some text like, we are speaking money now. Can you introduce yourself and your amazing talent to our online audience and the studio at large?
Alright, great, thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Verbal Mtwaye, that's the name. Though they call me Kmo, because that's from my name, Hamuhali.
Okay.
So it's Verbal Hamuhali is my proper name.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my stage name when I play music and what I do. And yeah, I'm an actor and writer, music, playwright. Yeah, so I just do a lot of art, productions and everything.
Thank you so much, sir. Guys, you can book Kmo, guys. You can book him. If we are shut, call Kmo. When you get the first, call Kmo. I've even seen people calling DJs to funerals and weddings. So call Kmo. He will bring out.
I haven't done a funeral before.
You see?
Okay, really, like next month again.
Yeah. So now let's get into the nitty-gritties of text. According to SARS this year, they have collected over around somewhere there by 3 not billion, guys, not zillion, trillion from taxpayers in South Africa. By our taxpayers, right? We will be popping champagne, but also this is also a celebration of South Africa as a tax-paying country.
We have to. People need to understand that the trillion rands, how it filters down, is that it pays salaries, it builds the roads, it maintains the ecosystem.
Yes.
The country has cash flows of R1 trillion flowing, and we have agencies like us that are doing this effectively for all of us, which is why we have tax season.
All right.
We understand the Sims logo.
Okay, so what? I want you talk to me like I'm 5 years old right now. What is tax season? Who is paying tax and why am I paying tax?
Okay, so in South Africa there are multitudes of taxes.
Yes.
There are multitudes of taxes. Sibala customs, sibala excise duties. But we are focusing on personal income taxes. What that means is that we are focusing on the tax that is paid from an individual's perspective and the money they make. What we have as a country is to say, most salaries are mine. You must go account and then pay a portion of money towards your taxes in the country.
Okay.
Taxes are such even a biblical conversation when Muslims learn their tax. It's a Bible as a religious country, we know this. In the Bible, there's a story where they try to teach Jesus and they say, should we pay Caesar our taxes and then pay our tithes to the church? No, you actually have to pay your taxes to your government and also pay your taxes to the church. Because both of these environments, the money was used to make that environment that the community eats. And if you understand the principles of economics, money needs to flow.
When is this over to you. So who is a taxpayer? Who qualifies to pay tax?
Every individual in South Africa who is earning income should pay the tax.
But at what if I get paid 1,000 rand? Is it fair that I also pay tax? That's what I'm trying to find out. So what is the minimum wage that you are qualifying to pay tax?
Okay.
As soon as a person, for instance, if you are employed, if you're getting paid 5,000 rand, they need you to have your income tax.
Okay.
Right? You have to have an income tax number so you can be able to be registered as SARS.
So is it my responsibility to go to SARS and register myself, or should my employee register me to SARS?
It's your personal duty to go to SARS or e-filing or call SARS wherever you are to register and have an income tax number.
Okay.
Then after that, we have thresholds to say, okay, if you are getting 5,000, then you're not being taxed. But as soon as your income goes above 90,000 per annum, that's when you get taxed.
Annum is the whole year, my guys.
per year.
Yeah.
Am I happy if I might just clarify this conversation? Literally, employed or not employed, you need to engage with SARS over your return.
Okay.
As an individual, I minimum.
Okay.
Oh, it's like the scale of which you have been talking about. When you are less than 65 years old, in a year, if you make 91,000, you actually don't. You still have to go declare, but you get zero taxes. Because of the text for my base. If you simplify this, we've taken into account that you need to live, there's personal cost to life. So, Galaxy test, 91,000 in South Africa is basically our minimum lifestyle cost for you in the rebate.
So if you earn over 90,000 a year, you are eligible for paying taxes. Okay.
But everyone needs to declare at SARS. Every year you need to go and have a return saying, on an individual level.
Okay.
So that responsibility when it comes to tax season is for everyone.
Or everyone needs to just keep going to SARS and declaring what I'm this year. Now next year I'm getting midnight. Say that. Then next year you're going to have money. So also now let's talk about you. You guys keep saying tax season. So is tax season a period like summertime? What is tax season? Like, why must we all now start jumping around? What is tax season for the individual taxpayers? Because you guys said actually tax goes in different hierarchies and levels. So how is tax season affecting us right now? What is tax season for the individual taxpayer?
A tax season is just saying we are open for 2023 tax year for everybody to be able to go to SARS and do their returns.
Okay, so when does it start and when does it end?
It starts on the 7th of July.
Okay.
I'm not sure how many days.
I know,
dates. Okay, no, we need to know.
So for tax season, which is where this conversation is nice this year.
Yes.
If tax season starts on the 7th of July,
Okay.
already abantu automatically assessed. Still not explain it. But already people that are automatically assessed have already gotten SMS from SARS to say you are okay.
Alright.
Right? So tax season starts on the 7th of July. It will end for everyone who's a provisional taxpayer, because that's the conversation. There's a provisional taxpayer and a non-provisional taxpayer.
Okay.
Provisional. So you will help me.
We will be introducing more guests on studio, and guys, don't forget to ask us questions that you have online regarding tax, because it is a masterclass and we want to go into the tax season with confidence. So I think for this conversation, can we let Duduzo
come in
on stage? Another tech. I would do only masters in tax. So don't think I'm just calling random people. Only masters. We went to school for 12 years. So break. So yes. Niduzo, how are you?
I'm good and Jenny.
I'm good. As a citizen, let's say I've been working, getting these 90,000 per annum. I don't declare anything. I don't pay anything. I don't even know my tax number. You understand? And then one day I just wake up. I'm like, let me get myself in order. Where do I go? How do I start? What are the implications? If I've been having money, but I've never said anything to SARS, but today I want to fix my way with SARS, what happens?
Okay, just before I get to your question, taking you back to your intro where you were saying that in layman's term, what does it mean to be a taxpayer?
Yes.
And all of that nitty-gritty
Yes.
and whatnot. I think one thing that you need to understand about taxation is that as a citizen of a country, we enjoy resources. Just like Natasha explained that they build schools, they build roads.
Yes.
So for you to enjoy that resource, you must contribute to the fiscus. Or you must contribute to
the what?
To the fiscus. Which So these are city commissioner.
Okay.
So you need for you to enjoy that resource, you need to pay for it. So now, as they explained, you even asked, how do I know that I'm liable to pay for tax?
Yeah.
Tax work for individuals specifically, work on a progressive rate. If I'm earning 1 million, I can't get the same tax as someone who's getting 5,000.
Yeah.
So the more money you make, the more money tax you're gonna pay. So that's the mechanics or the background of it. But it all goes back to you enjoying the resources of the country, because we're gonna talk about different taxpayers and whatnot. And but also going back to what you mentioned in terms of what we mean by a tax season.
Yes.
The tax season will differ from, in this case, we're dealing with individuals.
Yes.
But when you're dealing with the company, it's going to be the financial year of that company. But as masterclasses continue,
we will be going back. But today's focus is on individuals.
Yes. And I think it's also nice to appreciate the fact that it's in the current year. If you look in the past years, for you to be able to declare your tax or to do your tax return, the number of days, I think I believe it was 40. But in the current year, it's changed from 7 to 23 July. You have more days now to do what? Make queries and ask and understand if SARS has assessed you correctly or not.
Okay. Then can we go back to my current question when I said I have been receiving an income, I don't know how much deductions, I don't know anything. So one day I want to go to SARS, I want to go to SARS and get my affairs in order. What are the implications for me if I've never paid tax before but I've been getting money? Are they going to make me start all over and fine me and penalize me? What happens to me?
You see, with individuals, because the way tax is structured is that they know after 12 months, you're not going to have maybe 15,000 just to cough out and pay.
Yes.
So what they do, as Natasha explained earlier on, you become a provisional taxpayer.
Okay.
So SARS is going to do what? It's going to withhold a certain amount of money on a monthly basis on your behalf. So the responsibility, even though it lies with the taxpayer to say, I need to register for tax, but as an employer, you need to withhold that amount of tax for an individual. Because now, if you don't know the mechanics of it, comes the taxes you need to file, you're not going to be able to pay the amount of money. But if now you're a provisional taxpayer, you're employed, your employer must file your tax number, so you need to go and register with SARS, whether via online, which most things are online now. Going to a branch is just, I don't think it's worthwhile.
But sometimes those online things are really troublesome.
Yeah, they are, because remember, most of the time, most of our parents will get SMS saying that you have a refund due. Then they will click on that link, being scammed. So this is why it's very important that you know that you're working with a different channel or the proper channel for to tax itself. But going back to making it simple as much as possible.
Introduced a very good conversation. There are provisional taxpayers and there are non-provisional taxpayers.
Yes.
For non-provisional taxpayers, usually employment income could withhold or pay leave. There's a withholding. Imali yabanjwa every month uyayibona i-deduction ka-tax on your payslip every single time. Their tax season is ending on the 23rd of October. Non-provisional taxpayers, where it tax to be withheld by employer yako, on the 23rd of October it is closing. So we have about 3 months for people to account for their taxes when they're non-provisional taxpayers. Provisional taxpayers, we're still gonna go deep into the profiles. And I think this whole session, since I said this, we need to just sit down and explain the different types of profiles of taxpayers and the flow of money and the obligation.
Exactly.
Non-provisional taxpayers, their tax season is ending 24th of January. And they contribute every 6 months in the tax year. You have to go to SARS and declare your provisional submissions, which then helps you manage the liability holistically.
Can we break? Yes. This is a very important conversation. Can we break down the person paying tax?
Yes.
Every month, 15,000 every month.
Yes.
X company, you know every month but that takes 2,000, right? You know your numbers when it comes to tax. Then there's other people that are contractual workers, right?
Yes.
Yes. And then there's freelancers.
Yes.
So can we break down each profile of that person? A freelancer, they get a job, but they're 60,000, Then they don't work for 3 months. They get another freelancing gig, but they're 90,000. They get another gig after 75 months. It makes 150,000. So how does each of the how do you break down each of these profile when it comes to tax?
Sims, when it comes to the profile of the profile in terms of income, when it comes to the taxpayer, it is driven by the contracts of money that you make. I say to everyone to do so, Labo happy know this. We are all running businesses when hear me out where I'm taking this conversation. We're all running businesses. An employment contract is a business arrangement. You are selling your time to your employers. But then the employment contract, and if your income stream is for employment, there is employment income and there's nothing else. Full-time contract, trade income and all the other natures, which is trade income, investment income. You then fall under the category if you've actually registered as that person. Guys, what are showing? Guys, asiqala indaba yomuntu semzi yemali ayiyi ngokuthi uqashiwe kuphela, iya ngokuthi what sources of income do you earn in a year?
But Natasha, that's why it's like you know this text.
Yes.
You are speaking to people
Yes.
that want text explained to them like a 5-year-old. That's why in the example, very simple. Someone sometimes gets 60,000. Sometimes they don't work. Sometimes they get 90,000. Sometimes they get 150,000. How do they work around their taxes?
Okay.
If you get money, for instance, some freelancers get taxed by the person that employs them,
Yes,
right?
okay.
But most of the time they get all their money.
Yes.
If that's the case with you, at the end of the year you have to sit down and say, this year I have received 200,000.
Yes.
Add all your
money
that you have been receiving.
Okay.
And in that case, because you're a freelancer, you have an option to also minus your transport cost, minus any deduction related to the work that you are doing.
Yes.
If you're buying equipment like you're a cameraman, for instance, then those kind of expenses, you can be able to deduct them.
Okay.
And that gives you an option to reduce your tax liability.
Okay.
And that's trade income, when Sims.
Okay.
Yes,
That's,
in order for you to be able to do that, you have to keep all your receipts. You have to have a file
Of your receipts.
that keeps all the receipts, so you
Okay.
can be able to submit them to SARS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sims, again, it sounds complicated what I'm trying to say to people. But in our NXCA Network, we work through an initial consultation.
Okay.
Because Sims, about 3, or full-time employed, totally salary on a month-to-month basis. Provisionally, collected via payee. Bese kwakhona lo othola i-contract every 3 months.
Yes.
Loyo uno trade income.
Yes.
Kahle menga registered as a provisional taxpayer. Usa non-provisional taxpayer lo muntu.
Okay.
Kodwa u trade income, which is a business environment.
Okay.
Every single decision, again I emphasize this, as NXCA Network, we work through consultation because we have to work through this decision making with our clients. Which one are you? Okay, people money, can't buy any investment income. In earning investment income, they earn dividends. Dividends, sometimes you can be a provisional taxpayer while earning investment income. You can also be a provisional taxpayer while earning investment income. The one that is guaranteed is the employment income.
And just to add clarity on that, Natasha, when you're looking at tax, there's no one umbrella that fits all. You need to look at the effect of each individual, because you may be a freelancer but you have a rental income that you're earning, or you maybe get a part-time job. That is different to you. Going back to what Natasha is saying, that consultation must be done. We can't just give you an umbrella cover for everything, but as a basis of understanding, are you within the type of scope of people that you mentioned?
The scope,
yes,
okay.
exactly.
Okay. And then,
I'd like to add,
yes, please do.
there is an issue, especially if you are employed by an SME. If you're sitting at home watching this live, you're employed by an SME, it's very important to request your IRP5. Because what we noticed is that people are getting taxed on their payslip, but the money does not go to SARS.
Highway.
So it's very important that you know earlier on what's happening.
So you're telling me if I work for Muben's funerals, then I work there for that, then Mube, I even know where he stays. Then he keeps deducting my 300 and he says it's for tax.
Yes.
One day I go to SARS, they don't even know.
They don't even know.
Where the 300 zakat that they Mube, where are they?
That's the biggest issue that we are having as a country. So it's very important to know where are you standing with your SARS.
Okay. So once I ask for RIP5, if I look at him and he looks at me back, I must just know.
You just know there's a problem.
And then guys, let me tell you, when I used to work in corporate there, right? And then we used to get money back. You file and then sometimes they give you money.
The magical refunds.
They sometimes give you money. They sometimes say no, you owe us. What happens? What happens during that time? What does it? When they give me money, when is it? And when they say I owe them, what is it?
They give you money is because you pay them more tax.
Oh,
and
okay.
usually it comes from the system mistakes where an individual who works with the tax issues in your organization takes a little bit more, but that money will come back. But there are certain factors that affect the deduction, that affect you getting your money back or you owing SARS, which we'll get into details.
Okay.
Yabo when the sales lento ya SARS akusho ukuthi when you are making money SARS is automatic. Okay, legally they're automatically entitled, but it's the process between two people. Okay. Because for every cent that I make, there is cost that went into me making that money. Okay. There is something to show. Yeah. So the act is designed to have deductions that take into account that you spent money to make the money. Okay. Does that English make sense? You spend money to make the money. So there are deductions and allowances, and then the dos of years a match. No problem. It's a mathematical calculation. Guys, I will be honest in this thing. Many tax I fail university once in a lifetime. Got honors. I will be honest.
Can you give someone else the mic?
I'm grateful that's why I'm more experienced than all of these guys. More experience. No, there's a mathematical calculation sense that goes in. We won't teach it anyhow. Okay. But le yokuthi ubuyelwe i-refund. Yes. It's because in the calculation sense, the tax computation, when they did it, they overestimated what was your final liability to SARS. And when that happened, and then when you are making trade income, you declare. Yes. When you are making trade, you had employment income, they've been withholding your taxes. But at the end, when you apply the act and use the benefits that are there, they take into account that you spend money to make money. Then it comes back to you. It's not a miracle, it's a science, it's a mathematical science that is built into the law. Can you please let me pass on?
You just took the words out of my mouth. We used to argue with Mama when you get a refund, it's God given. We explained there's provisional tax that you pay. The term provisional means that it's an estimate. So from a simple example, I've estimated that you're going to have a tax of 1,000 by the end of 12 months. But we find out that no. On our provisional calculation, we're supposed to be 1.2. Now what must we do? Bring back my 200. Yeah. Because now when we're doing the actual assessment, we're doing the actual calculation, we're not making a provision. Or if it's the other way around, you provided more, 1.2. But when we do the actual calculation, it's 1,000. Then SARS is going to say, here's your 200 back. Okay.
Okay. Also, can we just, guys, I'm not alone. I'm not the only YouTuber that is here, guys. We've got Zwanda, who's more qualified in this niche more than I am. She's going to be coming and asking some of your questions, because I see there are some questions online, right? There are some questions online, so Zwanda is going to be asking our panel the few questions that we have on the line. Zwanda, come through, sweetie.
It is not a miracle, but it feels like a miracle. When my team and I have accounted,
yes.
When my team and I have accounted, it feels like I've performed the biggest of miracles when someone is getting their refund. But it didn't go to seek dig. We have to dig you and find and consult and talk to you over how did you get to making the money.
Zwanda, what are the questions on social? Introduce yourself first. Tell me your channel. Tell people to subscribe, and then get into the questions.
Yes, so my name is Zwanda Rasiweda. I am a mining engineer by profession. Yes, from Brits. I missed that part. But I'm very passionate about personal finance. I think in South Africa there is really a lack of personal finance education, and therefore that leads to mismanagement of money. And I think for us as investor, I have a YouTube channel which I focus on savings and investments, right? Oh, please subscribe.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm an investor myself, and I engage a lot with investors. I think a lot of people who are in investments, they focus a lot more on generating wealth. They focus a lot more on making the money, and they actually consider tax as an afterthought, right? And then you actually get to lose more money. I was talking to Happy earlier about it. You lose money because then you don't understand what you're getting yourself into. You're probably paying more tax when you're not supposed to, because we don't incorporate tax planning in our strategy to build wealth. So that's, I think, my view on why tax is important and why
you are here. Yes. And this conversation is relevant.
Yes. So can you just give us two questions from management that you've read?
Yes, I think the question in regards to your employment, the employment conversation that you guys were having, I'm just gonna read it on my phone because it was kind of checking. So I think the question was, how does paying for retirement affect your tax?
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not gonna answer in full. I'm gonna allow Happy and to do, but I just wanna say we actually this is the first masterclass. We are introducing tax season, but because of how detailed tax is, we will have specific segments. We have specific segments that will respond in detail. But retirement is a tax planning tool and a tax nightmare when people retire. Hey, we've seen it. Happy, I'll hand over to you.
I'll just give you guys a short description of what happens. When you pay it now, like I pay a retirement annuity at the moment, I don't get taxed. It actually forms part of my deduction. It reduces my tax liability on a yearly basis. But as soon as I retire and get my retirement, that's when the money gets taxed. And you get the shock of your life that actually I thought I'm going to be getting 1 million in full. All of a sudden, 1 million is only 600,000. So it's one of those things that you need to take into consideration as you plan for your retirement. Okay. And don't have a heart attack, you know.
Okay, thank you. Just going back to my analogy when I spoke about the fact that you pay taxes because you're enjoying the resources of the country. But now if you save for the future, SARS is going to give you what? A deduction on a monthly basis because you're saving for your retirement as opposed to as who's not saving as yet, but So all of these credits are there because they are assisting you as a taxpayer. If I decide to have a medical aid, I'm not going to go to a public hospital. So meaning that I'm not stressing the public resources. Now what SARS is doing is encouraging me to do what? Join a medical aid, have a retirement, A, B, C, D, and E. Because now you're not straining the resources of the country. So that's the analogy that I look at whenever I'm explaining things along those nature.
I just have a quick follow-up question. That is related to what you said. So you mentioned tax liabilities, and you mentioned tax credit. What's the difference between the two? Is it the same, and which one is better?
Okay.
Tax liability, we are referring to a debt that you're going to be having with SARS. So if we're supposed to pay 40,000 over to SARS because you have deductions such as your medical aid, such as your retirement annuity, your pension fund, that reduces your tax liability. That liability is a debt.
Okay.
Just to close it off, also in addition, so credits are just the opposite of the liability that you owe. So it's going to reduce again your tax liability or the amount of tax that you must pay because you're part of a medical aid, things along those nature.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay. Do you have any more questions on that? Because I just saw another question, but you can ask.
Yes, so I think the question that I wanted to ask for myself is as an investor, like someone who have employment as well as someone who's actually doing other things, investing in shares
I'm with you.
Investing in property and so forth. How do I consolidate the whole? How do I structure it, right? At what point do I say I need a Natasha to assist me? You know,
To be perfectly honest, all the time.
Yes.
But when all that you will need, I'm a firm believer in not doing it if you must. I accepted that in my 27 years. I don't need to know everything. For things to be done, but send it to someone who knows it.
Yes.
But okay, when you've diversified your income streams, let me use the diversification word. If my income streams are money, it's actually a benefit to you. Because we know that from your employment income, you are paying taxes.
Yes.
They've been withheld. Now your investment income and your trade income, or we start then, I'm not sure to manipulating, but they then start counting towards your overall portfolio so that we can see, we can put in the inputs of what you put in. Gobo investor you are making losses. I'm an accountant, I'm an accountant, I'm not a tax practitioner, so the accountant for you and the losses they make. Investment, and in Kolumi Kunis, which tell us 100,000. Yeah, cost 100,000, 90,000 in losses for 3 years.
Yes.
All those losses at SARS are valuable for you. And guys, it requires you to pay. So the fear of running away from having a liability, I think I get it from not spending money, but at the same time, the accountability of money is very important. So where investment, we sort of need to look through the patterns of every year and then declare, you will definitely need me as an accountant, because I actually have to do the financial statements for you as a person. You support employment income. Employment income is supported through IRP 5s,
yes.
But any other, and then investment incomes, the investment houses actually declare on your behalf. They do go and declare SARS, so the certificates that they provide.
Yes.
But ultimately, we sort of need to bring the conversation together, especially as you make wealth, as you make more wealth for yourself. We do then the financial statements, which we then take to SARS. If you've made a profit, good people, let's all be happy. Contribute a portion to the country again. Don't fear that.
Yes.
I see.
I'm going to be swapping around the panel. I'm going to swap Zwanda and Natasha and have Sihle, because she's both a practitioner. It says here CASATP. You are wearing many hats, so you can you are 2 for 1 special. But so as you answer, we have Sihle on the stage.
I just want to go back to what Natasha explained earlier. I'm saying that tax is a formula.
Yes.
I think one thing that we missed when we started is that when you do your tax calculation, you just don't plug numbers. You follow a certain structure. And once you mess up that structure, you get problems.
That's why we need
So now we're also going back to what you're saying, that you need to structure your tax affairs in a manner, not that we try to cut corners. That's why in tax we have something called tax evasion versus tax avoidance.
Yeah.
You have a right to structure your taxes in the best way that you pay the most or the least tax possible.
Okay.
In that case, you're not evading tax. You're not running away from the taxman, but you're ensuring that you, I'm being too technical, but you're ensuring that you're trying to ensure that your affairs are in the manner that is going to be allowed by law. I just wanted to add that, Natasha, from what you explained.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I also add something? I wanted to say that a lot of us who are doing investments, like yourself, you find the system very easy because we are all learners, right? Everything is allocated because we're working on system. So when you open your e-filing, everything is there. Your liberty will be there, everything will be indicated. But what SARS don't have information on is what we have been spending to make that investment.
Okay.
And that's where an accountant comes in to declare the expenses that you incurred to make that income that you're showing on the whole ecosystem of e-filing.
There is something also that just whispered to me that I think we need to clarify.
Yeah.
What's the difference between an accountant and a taxpayer and a tax practitioner?
Yes.
Okay, so we all start at the training of being accountants, right? But then, tax practitioners are authorized people to submit on behalf of people at SARS.
Okay.
To be perfectly honest, it's illegal for uNatasha Kulu to submit at SARS if I'm not registered as a tax practitioner.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is why people get lost in the ecosystem and say, I approached a practitioner and they did not do their job right. No. You approached an accountant like me. But again, not like accountant like me, but I know my taxes. I just made a choice to stay as a chartered accountant because of business reason.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so only tax practitioners are legally allowed to be accounting on behalf of people. They are agents of SARS. So they also can't help you in the paperwork. You about kilometers when you do there's a logbook that people keep for travel allowances. There's a logbook. Tax practitioners can't help you. You have to come in and say, this is my work, this is the documents that I have kept and evidence I have for my declarations. Tax practitioner, help me submit.
Okay.
Guys,
also we don't want to, let's not forget the audience.
Yes.
And people that we need to speak to.
Yes.
Like we are talking to 5-year, 3-year-olds, 10-year-olds. Please, yes, you guys were in this class for 99 years. But don't forget us that went to 12 years.
Oh, and 40 minutes, man.
Yeah.
Everybody,
now, Happy, welcome on set. Can you please introduce? Happy, get away from me. Sit there. Please introduce yourself, my love.
Sanibonani Molweni, ngama Sihle. I'm a chartered accountant, also a tax practitioner. I was working at SARS previously for about 8 years, so I know everything about SARS. Just an interesting reading that I was going through just now. So with the revenue collection, Natasha, that you were talking about, the 2 trillion. Yes. So if you look at it, 601.7 billion of that comes from your personal income taxes. So you see how the contribution that you as an individual are making in this country through you paying the taxes. So majority of those collections are coming from you. So that is very, very important that you are making this country to be what it is. As much as there's corruption, there's everything, but look at the beauty that you are creating around you. Compared to even other countries, how South Africa looks like.
I was glad that you mentioned this. Can you work with me? I want you to be my inside man, but again, we are professionals, there's things that we keep aligned. Yes, sir.
Okay, so we are going into a segment of debunking some of the misconceptions that we have on tax, right? I think what I've heard a lot is people, like Nduduzo said, people thinking that there's magic in the money in which they get, right? That's like one of the biggest misconceptions. People feel like they are lucky to get the money in which they get. But I wanted to ask, in relation to this misconception, what are legal ways that a person can look into to actually reduce the tax bill?
Legal ways.
Legally.
I'm not a accountant. I have strategies, I have detailed strategies, but in my consultation, I'll allow the tax practitioners to speak.
Oduduza did mention that there's a difference between tax evasion and tax avoidance. So as you said, you structure your affairs in a way that you are not in the bad books or SARS. You are allowed legally to have your deductions, have your medical aid tax credits. So in that way, that's how you should be structuring your affairs, rather than actually lying and not declaring certain income. Maybe you're having rental properties and you're hiding that from SARS. Maybe not cool that you are renting out, and you are not declaring that. That is tax evasion.
Yeah, maybe just to give one practical example, not going into detail or go into the actual act
strategies.
Yes. In essence, SARS, I'm not sure which year they introduced a 12T investment.
Okay. Yes.
So now SARS is saying that,
2015.
yes, thank you so much. So they introduce a type of saving that if you invest an amount of money, if it's below a certain amount of money, the interest that you're going to get from there is not going to be taxed. But once you go over and above that amount of money, you're going to be taxed. So exactly. So now, if I structure my investment to be below the threshold, I'm legal. But once I hide the interest, I'm in a different space. I'm not sure if I'm making sense.
Thank you so much. That makes so much sense because you're speaking to me right now. Because then now, and it's coming to the next question maybe that I have, I'm thinking for me, I have a very diversified portfolio. I have a portfolio that I have a product that gives me interest rate, right? I have capital gains from my shares and my property in appreciation, right? And then I also have other things in retirement annuity. So I think that question kind of allow us to know that maybe I need Natasha to actually assist me. And that's where my question of when do I need a Natasha and what do I need to bring to a Natasha when I'm looking into all of this and it's foreign language to me.
Okay, when it comes to accountability and accountants, when it comes to money, actually, money, for me to trust that I'm gonna get 20,000 from Duduzo, 20 million, let me actually erase the money. I'm gonna get 20 million rands from Duduzo. There's levels of accountability that are built into financial systems.
Yes.
With the accountants, which is me, I am in-house. I am certifying that in my knowledge of what has happened and in my understanding of the flow of money, these are the financial statements of the company.
Yes.
Right? Tax practitioners then become the third party that go on your behalf to say, I am independent in this whole process.
Okay.
And my role is to just focus on the accountability of tax. And because I spend time and knowledge and understanding, I've been trained on this for years.
Yes.
I can't just come and be a tax practitioner without a number of years of training. So by the time that Happy comes in, she's now third party. So this thing is levels in terms of money that you are coming. I went to 20 million. When you are at 300 million, right, 300 million rands in revenues as a business, you need an external auditor through all of us existing. There's a third party of accountability that's built in, which is an auditor who audits those financial statements because, see, once I've signed as a chartered accountant in the levels that I provide, there is accountability and protection that I am giving to anyone who trusts your statements and your financial statements. There is nothing wrong with you accounting for yourself. That's the first line of accountability. You're allowed, especially if you're not making a lot of money and you're doing your own financial statements.
Yes.
If you have a clear understanding of money and these conversations of accounting, there is nothing wrong with you doing it. But as it grows in value, a million rands already as an accountant, I want a reviewer on my financial statements. I don't want to buy a loan once you've exceeded $1 million.
Yes.
When it comes to taxes, as much as I am the accountant for people, I want tax practitioners because legally they're supposed to be there.
Yes.
So you cannot be alone in accounting for your money. You need your third party, you need a separate person who will sit with you, and it's a personal relationship when it comes to me as an accountant. Once I'm your accountant for the whole year, in any booking, anyone who wants testimony over the assets because you're applying and for a loan, I am there. I'm the person who's saying, sharp, trust Zwanda's statements. She has all that value. I've seen it, I've accounted for it, you get it there. So that's, as you grow in money and you don't run, people like to save and run away from the cost, but it costs you down the line. You've seen it with a lot of these celebs. They start saying, my accountant did this, my accountant did that. As you grow in money, in my network, everyone knows, the more we have, the more you are bigger in terms of value. You will get an intern, you will get me, you will get a tax practitioner. If I need a reviewer, you will get a reviewer because the level of finance that you are in requires that. But in my league, in its trust, this is why we have the central bank. In my league, in its ecosystem, requires that to establish points of trust.
Yes.
And it's third parties. Let me move on to C. Yes.
I think one other aspect that we have not touched on is audits.
Yes.
So you get a notification of audit from SARS. You are
Yes.
going into panic mode.
I know that.
You are thinking, oh God, something went wrong, or they've been watching me with binoculars and monitoring my movements. So I think with that's another fear that happens with taxpayers. But I don't think you should just go and get someone qualified to talk you through the process.
Yeah.
We are here, obviously. So you talk through the process. So what happens usually is SARS will send you a notification and say, look, we are auditing you and we require these documents. After you've filed, that's another process that they go through. So you need to now get in touch with a qualified person and they'll talk you through those documents. And if you have any disputes with SARS after that, also that's another process, but do not fret. The documents that are required, a person can talk you through them. For example, you have a retirement annuity, right? And you claim deductions based on that. But now SARS is saying, no, we want to audit you. We want this document or proof that you've been making this payment. So what do you do then? You talk to a person, what next?
Yes.
You understand? So yeah.
And also, I think one thing that can guide you in a way is that I think one thing that we miss when Natasha was speaking about, or when you had a question about what's the difference between an accountant or a tax accountant or a tax practitioner, is that one thing that you need to understand is that there's a difference between accounting treatment of certain transactions or certain income that you have and a tax treatment. This is where I'm in this case. Why wasn't even because people were getting taxes filed by any person. So SARS said that no, we need to have a mechanism where we control who files for who. So they introduce a certain act which is for administrative purposes. For you to be a TP, you need to jump certain hoops. Have certain integrity, so that when you do a particular filing for a person, you can be held accountable because you know all the rules and regulations pertaining to that. So I think also that can be able to guide you. And also don't think that the profit that you have made for accounting is the same as the profit that you have made for tax. Even though in tax we don't refer to as profit, but
Let's just
I love that. I think you all touch base on something which is very interesting, which is do not blame the accountant, right? So now I'm going to ask on behalf of everyone who's watching, what is the basic information that I need to know as a person to educate myself so that I know what to ask you? I know how to equip myself to be able to be accountable as well as an individual. Because I think what a lot of people do is I just come to you and trust everything that you do on my behalf. So what are the basic informations? What can I do from my side if I'm coming to you to get help?
Okay, so the whole month of July, every week, which is why, Nati, let me start with this. For the whole month of July, we have masterclass sessions, which will then go deeper in terms of the tax profiles from income. They will be posted on our YouTube, new YouTube channel. It was opened. We made a decision because before we were going to charge for attendance for all the masterclasses. After this, all the masterclasses that was going to be free. But the information is very important for the growth of our community. So all the masterclasses are now going to be freely accessible on our YouTube channel that currently does not have any subscribers. So go and subscribe. The first session will be posted by Monday. This session will be posted by Monday. Wednesday, we already have a session. Let me tell you the masterclasses that are coming through. We have a session. The next week's sessions will be focused on talking on the documentation when you're earning employment income. We will look at your RP files because when you're getting automatically assessed, if you got an SMS already from SARS saying your return has been submitted, you have a refund due, you're automatically assessed. They say through that process, go to your profile, look at what was submitted on your behalf, and then assess it. Next week, our masterclass for next week will be touching on the things that are affecting employment income on that part. Every week, the timetable seems we've given the timetable. Trump, you've done the timetable, yes? We've done the timetable. We will share it online. We'll share it with Sims every week on that YouTube channel that currently has no subscribers. There will be lessons that go deeper in each type of income. There is one, I think by the third week of July, we have an investment masterclass where we'll just be looking at what happens then when you have investment, what are the implications for that, what are the documents that you need to have. It's, to be perfectly honest, Everything is available on the SARS websites. They've done so many guys. This is one of the things. I work for government. When we talk about other government taxes, we always say SARS has done this. Because that website is actually quite detailed, good people. You can Google and find these things, especially if you're someone who learns things by themselves. It's just, again, when you say, I don't understand, come to the professionals. Yes. The website is there. I won't go into responding deeper into what you need to have, because each session that we're gonna hold over the next few weeks are gonna cover what each type of income requires as far as we can take it.
Natasha, one thing we spoke about between me and you is there are other types of taxpayers, right?
Yes.
So if you're a taxpayer and you're working overseas, right? You're still a tax resident here in South Africa, but maybe you are working in, let's say, Dubai, right? Or Korea. I see that's where you want to go. So what about me then? Yes. Am I still going to pay taxes in South Africa? If you're a tax resident in South Africa, you are taxed on your worldwide income. What does it mean to be a tax resident? It's very technical, but if you are now a South African, right? You are born here, you're raised here, it's where you will die.
So there's even case law that speaks to the fact that it's the place that you return back to.
Yes.
So
after all your endeavors in life, after all your traveling, you understand. So you were born here, you've registered with SARS, you worked here before, you are a tax resident. Now you go and work in Dubai, right? You are earning income, not South African sourced income, but it's sourced in Dubai. Right? Yes. So the first 1.25 million of that income is exempt. Right? That was brought in because now everybody wants a piece of the pie. All the countries now want a piece of the pie, right? Before then, you could go free and you will not be taxed because you are not sourcing your income here in South Africa and you've been away for more than 183 days. Yes. Right? But that's very important. The days are also important. But now South Africa also wants a piece of the pie because a lot of people have been manipulating the system. Yeah. So if you are earning more than 1.25 million, the excess of that 1.25 million, SARS wants it.
I am grateful that you've taken us down this path, because I really think we need to now talk about the tax ecosystem in South Africa, understanding that if you work here, you said you were a tax resident. If you work in South Africa, you were born here, you work here, you're a tax resident. If you were born and raised in South Africa, but you work internationally, you go Korea, as you guys are talking, you're a tax resident of the country, there's accountability. But there's also another part of person that we have to talk about. People that are from other countries that work and enjoy this country. They are liable for taxes in our country. Yes. We are grateful for the ones that contribute, which is why we actually have we have in the 4th week of July, I believe, but the timetable will be shared. There are 2 sessions which are talking to this matter in itself. Yeah. People that are enjoying the ecosystem of South Africa from an income perspective and working and making money that feeds you. Even if it feeds you, you are in Dubai. But if you make it in South Africa, you are supposed to be taxed. You are legally liable for accountability in this country. We're gonna drill, because she's already, I told them to start preparing long time ago. She's already going deep into the technicalities of international tax when it comes to the ecosystem of South Africa. So, even if you're from Zimbabwe, you work in South Africa, you are a taxpayer in South Africa because you stay here. Okay. Yes.
I have Instagram questions.
Okay, there is Instagram questions now coming for the session, so I'm going to hand over to Duduzo to get.
So sorry, before you get to the question, I just wanted to highlight a few things that we were supposed to mention earlier. Yes. Pertaining to assessment for SARS. Yeah. For SARS to be in a position for auto assess you or for your taxes, they get information now via third parties. So now SARS is moving into an automated system as opposed to filing everything manually or things along those nature. But now, why am I bringing that argument into the question? So now if you go through your e-filing profile, it's going to mention that you have medical aid, you have retirement, you have whatever. But now, as a taxpayer, if you see that there's something that they didn't mention, what must you do now? Tell them, no, you've missed A, B, C, D, and E. So that is why the system that is being changed now is going to be assisting taxpayers to ensure that all the tax implications that they are going under are taken into account. Because I made your medical aid during the year, but it's not going to be reflected on my third-party information. So what's going to happen then? You need to inform SARS in the sense of the term. And then just to flex a bit, Sisha was explaining that if you're a non-resident, you can pay tax in South Africa, or you can pay tax in your home country, depending on whatever the case may be. Let's say I'm from Dubai, I work in SA, and then I make money, South Africa wants to tax me. But now, Dubai and South Africa, because they want to create a good working relationship, they can enter into something called a double tax agreement, whereby Dubai is going to say, no, never mind South Africa, just tax him on that side. You see? So it's one of those things.
I have a question related to what you guys. Sorry guys, I saw some of you guys that came. Seems guys, mine one the way I'm multitasking. That seems like anyway. Yeah, so the question was saying, there's a lady, she's an ESL teacher in one of the Asian countries. I mean, her biggest fears are coming true regarding being taxed in South Africa. And why is that?
Her biggest fears are what?
Are coming true. She was a worker here in South Africa, then she went to work as an ESL teacher.
Okay.
In Korea. Now South Africa wants money.
Her responsibility still existed on an annual basis. She still had to come back and account to South Africa to say, I'm representing you well, South Africa. I'm making money in Korea. She should.
So are they taxing her?
Yes.
Well, as I said, it depends how much money are you making. First 1.25 million, it's exempt from tax.
But she comes and accounts.
But now, if you are more than, you need to account, you need to declare. You need to declare. Every person who's a taxpayer, you have to declare. You have to file your returns. But now, when you are filing your returns, there's a section that I will say, did you earn exempt income in terms of the section? And it's section 10.1. Okay. So when you're doing your return, you fill in that I've earned 800,000 from Dubai, but now I'm exempt. So automatically it will deduct and you have no tax liability. But the excess of 1.25 million, certainly for it.
Okay, and then can we get into another, because you know, we now live in the era of social media, making money on social media. Variety of people who are on social media. We've got camera people, we've got influencers, we've got YouTubers. We don't declare those things.
I said
no. Am I lying? Listen to me.
Okay.
Listen to me, Maria. Listen what happens, ne? You are an influencer. A brand comes and approaches you and they say, come do this ad. Go beside this moisturizer. Let's give you 60,000. And then when you invoice them, they put their VAT number, what on the invoice. That 60,000, it comes to me, has it already been deducted, taxed? Or it comes to me as it is, and then it's my responsibility to say I got 60,000 from this company.
Okay, this question of yours, you then sent me to sort of analyze your position as a YouTuber.
Yeah, we're talking about
yes. I'm gonna start with you.
Social media.
Yeah. I then everything about incomes is also governed by the contract.
Okay.
So when you then send me to go to find out as a YouTuber what are my tax implications, your AdSense contract, the platform that then pays you money for YouTube, says that you are legally liable for your own income, for your own declaration.
We are coming there.
Yes.
Start with this one of Nivea.
Let me come then with Nivea. If on Nivea, majority of you as influencers, to be perfectly honest, I haven't seen any other arrangement outside of all of it qualifying as trade income, meaning you are running a business.
Yeah.
Even as Nivea, you are running its trade income, your business is influencing and advertising.
So it's my responsibility to go to SARS.
And now this is the beauty of it. You have to account for all the costs that went into you doing that video and that campaign. Now, just seems all the cost of doing this thing still deduct. We have to account. Sims, can I explain this for you? We're gonna have Ndibuti. So to respond to this question, I looked at Ndibuti's ecosystem from just watching her on YouTube, right? Ndibuti works at her house.
Yes.
Primarily, it's recording at her house. Her whole family is involved in making that money. They also buy other Burger King. They buy like they involve. So all of that, her house, the house cost of the insurance scheme, the lights, the electricity, the internet. It's part of the cost that family is incurring to make money. There isn't any shot. So a portion of the overall housing cost, literally are now things that she has to go to SARS and says, to make YouTube money, I saw a 2 million rands video, but I need YouTube in my life. For them to make the 2 million rands, there's the housing cost, there's the clothes cost, even the clothes, like you dress up to look nice for the campaign, you buy the makeups, you pay for internet, you pay for electricity, you pay in beauty. You must keep all the receipts, keep your accounting records for every single thing.
Okay, then let's get into
money.
Sorry.
Yeah, because now I feel like it just moved too fast. I don't know now.
I understand to be corrected.
Yes.
You made an example that if I'm getting a salary, only I'm getting remuneration with my college, given medical aid, given retirement. Retirement medical aid, but now when where YouTube, I'm saying what's 600. One of us minus a makeup to YouTube. One of us minus a housing cost.
Yes, because it's expensive to create content. I'm a YouTuber. Yes. Google is my boss. And then YouTube pays us from America in dollars, right? And then we've signed tax papers. Then there's something they call the tax treaty. Can you break those things down? So because I'm paying tax in the USA, it changes. Is that not so?
It's not so, Sims. It's not so. You are a tax resident in South Africa. You're taxed on your worldwide income. So whether you are earning money from, I don't know, planet Mars, that money, SARS wants it. But now, as Undu Josot said, there are double tax agreements in place. So South Africa and USA will come together and say, okay, Sims, she got money. She's a tax resident in South Africa, but she got money from YouTube, which is a company in the United States, right? So who has taxing rights? So the DTA will divide the taxing rights. It will tell you who has taxing rights pertaining to that particular area.
America is already deducting.
America, even if it's deducting, right? That's where the tax agreement, double tax agreement comes later to explain. America, you are deducting, but because of the double tax agreement, you don't have taxing rights. So you go to America and say, because in terms of this double tax agreement, you don't have taxing rights. So what am I doing? I want my money back. Because South Africa also wants to tax you. So the onus is on you. It's up to
go to America.
Yes, because you are the one who's suffering financially in terms of cash flow. But remember, you might get a situation whereby South Africa says, okay, because of the DTA, America can tax you. You understand? There's also a tax credits that South Africa affords. If you've been paying taxes in America, then whatever taxes you've been paying, South Africa can deduct those taxes. You understand? So you're going to get a credit for it.
There's a question from studio.
Yes, please. So my question is, firstly, what are we allowed to put towards our retirement without the taxman, SARS, taxing that money that we make monthly? And then I say, maybe I'm putting 20K aside for retirement from my 40K salary a month. What am I allowed monthly to put away or yearly to put away without me being taxed on that? Because obviously it helps out also the government in the future when I do not need to get money. And then also in terms of the tax, like she's saying, so if she's taxed in America, how much money when it comes to South Africa will SARS look into? Are we still given that window of 1.2 million or so, whatever, before they start taxing that money? Or instantly, if it comes and let's say this year, by the end of the year, she made 200,000 from YouTube, does SARS come to the 200,000 and rips it off after Americans, or do they say no, it's made foreign, but it's not 1.5 million? Where do we stand in terms of?
Okay, I think I must just pass on the question. The first one to Dudu, the second one to Sihle.
Okay, the second one was the DTA, ne?
The first one was the retirement, the one that happy.
How much?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So in essence, the amount of money that you're gonna put into your retirement is going to determine how much you're gonna get as a deduction. So you don't have, you can't specify for yourself how much are you gonna get as a benefit. So the section will specify that if you're contributing, for example, 70,000, maybe a percentage of that can be allowed as a deduction because you're part of a retirement. Oh, thank you. Should I start again?
No.
Yes. Oh, okay. So as I was saying that you can't set an amount of money that I'm gonna save this much because I'm gonna ensure that SARS is gonna SARS is gonna ensure that I'm not taxed on that amount of money. You're not taxing that amount of money in the sense that SARS says that you have made a contribution to a retirement, but now I'm giving you relief. Okay. Not that we're saying that you're gonna save tax because you're saving this much, but I'm giving you a relief against the amount of money that I could be taxing you on. So for example, if I can tax you on 1,000, but because you're saving 90 rand, what's in what is go 150?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
We're about to say goodbye to Sihle, but can you just answer that question?
Okay, so your question was, so what happens now if you are being taxed, and how much of it will be taxed? That the 1.25 still apply? Remember, you're still a tax resident, right? So with the worldwide income,
He was talking about retirement.
Yeah, she was talking about you're earning the YouTube income, right?
Yes.
And then they've already taxed it.
Yes.
Right? So what's your recourse? So you are going to fill in everything, right, on your tax return. That, okay, I've earned so much from YouTube, but because of the exemption, it's exempt, right? So that's the way to do it. I think you had another question.
But okay, Masterclass. So
we have the masterclass. More will be explained. More questions will be
just to
answered.
add when I say they even call them a double sex agreement because they're trying to do what? Or they're trying to avoid you being taxed twice.
Okay.
So that's why it's a DTA. So it's a double tax agreement between those two countries, trying to avoid you being taxed twice. Yeah. So the first country can tax you, then you can come back and say no. There's a DTA. The DTA will specify. Okay. Because it even goes to the type of income that you are making.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
No, definitely. We will have a masterclass specifically for things involving international made income and international people in the South African ecosystem. And then we will also have a masterclass for investments and pension funds. Because we said this before. It's beautiful while you are working to contribute towards a retirement annuity. The only shock of your life, which you are finding for a lot of this is why we specifically started as a pension and a retirement masterclass, because a lot of people that are retiring now are getting the shock of their life. They're getting huge bills because you saved while you were young. You contributed, you got the benefits as a deduction of your payments for the pension fund. But once it gets paid out, it has tax implications. But there's a masterclass which will go deeper because for that masterclass, ask all your family members that are closer to retirement age to start coming, because that planning, you need to plan for that money. Okay. You need to plan as it comes. Sihle, ready for this international perspective.
Yes. Then we have back on set. Guys, okay, we are just going to go through the benefits of being tax compliant and tax management. And then, you guys will tell us more about your services. And we will be coming to an end. Yes, so let us get into the benefits of tax compliance. What are the benefits of me being tax compliant?
We are a community that lives together, that exists together in South Africa. This country has a young democracy. It's been fighting to grow. We've had so many programs that are redressing the past. Mina myself, because a lot of people back in in the days were contributing their taxes. And that tax ecosystem filtered down to me, Nganyese Makaya, Ekuliso Goko, and I am here, I'm educated, and I'm now educating and feeding and helping the society.
Yes.
So these taxes are important, not just from a selfish, what you get from a self perspective. But when you in South Africa, you complain about load shedding, you enjoy the benefits of our medical system, you enjoy the benefits of just being able to interact with the international world and enjoy your luxury for people with the world, enjoying the beauty of our country. All of that is maintained and exists in its form currently because we have the cash flows coming from the taxes of this country. And yabamuntu all the taxi ati no taxes must be paid because ANC one. You know, leave my little conversation because they are not looking at the value chain of what happens when these cash flows are being spent. Even as a business, half of us, a lot of businesses in South Africa, you might say I pay taxes so I employ government people. No. The biggest consumer of goods in the country, so the biggest reasons that there's businesses in the country is government. That money flows, it feeds us in the most minute and the most biggest of ways. Thus, one of the biggest tax benefits is that we live in South Africa, there are no wars, there is plans to sort of eradicate poverty, there are government grants, businesses are getting contracts and tenders from government. It's $1 million. Because million as a country. And I received the prophecy of being $1 million and $1 billion.
Happy?
Yes.
From an individual perspective, what are the benefits of being tax compliant?
For being tax compliant, you are taking yourself out of the misery of paying penalties.
Yes.
In the olden days, people would just move away from tax, just...
So easy, Dr. Malina.
They'll go on with their life and receive all money that they have been receiving. But right now, the tax penalties are hectic.
Yeah.
Whether you are whether you are doing your returns or not, and you are ignoring the fact that there's something called tax, then the day you remember there's tax and you start going to it.
They start with your baggy and your fridge, Dr. Malina. You
go
don't have your fridge right now because you acted like there's no tax. Yeah.
They go back as 5 years and start saying, okay, if there's a threshold, right? It's not from 250 per annum. If you fall under a person who earns 90,000 per annum, then you get a penalty of 250. That 250 is by 12 months because it's the monthly fee.
So that every year you don't pay tax, you get 250
every month.
Every month.
A return is outstanding.
A return is outstanding. Therefore, there's 250 per month.
And that's just for the people of 90,000.
For 90,000.
There are those of 2 million.
If you are earning 2 million per annum, your penalty is 4,000
per month.
Yes.
48,000 per year.
Yeah, and the more you delay on this, and not forgetting interest. So the more you delay on it, they add interest on top of the penalty.
Oh my goodness. Nduduzo, tax planning, Udani.
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna mention one thing when Natasha got the Kulumanga, then I'm gonna speak to your questions.
Yeah.
I think one thing that we need to understand, this difference between tax collection and tax spending.
Okay.
That's the first thing that you need to understand. SARS's role is to collect tax. And then the government does what?
Spend.
So we can't fight the fiscus or SARS just because your chosen government is the one who's doing what? Abusing your money. So basically, that's the first thing that I wanted
and
to
the SARS one, they're only doing their job.
They're doing their job.
They just want
they do the collection. So that's why you need to be. That's why you need to be in a position. That's why you need to be in a position that you are tax compliant.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, you're going to incur these penalties. You can even get a jail. And then cessation of your assets. You can lose your car. And they can sell them. They can take you back there and rand.
Oh, yes, kick. What's it? If it's like I take almost 60K, by taking 5,000.
And the man is stressed because they're doing their job. In a perfect world, if the government was spending the amount of tax that is being collected, in a proper manner,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have the social economic things that are happening or load shedding. But I think we need to, in essence, also understand the role of each party that is involved. And you can't say, well, I'm not going to pay tax, overspend, penalty. It's fine.
How does, guys, let's just, now we are Sahleba. Can you cheat the system? Like, are you able to just keep quiet all your time, all your life without going under the radar?
In the digital world, what is happening I think it's also just like something that the world and technology has enabled to happen. Third-party verifications is what's enabling SARS to be more efficient now. So people are declaring on your behalf that you are making money.
So like buy a bank and take your bank statement. 200.
Technology is enabling, which is why you'd rather than running away from a problem, face them and account. Make sure that then you plan. It's one of the things I did when I started my business. It was one of those things that I in question every single time I signed a contract from an employment perspective. Yeah. How am I going to deal with the taxes? There is tax planning because it's a guaranteed expense that is paid.
That's always going to be.
So if you wealthy, if you are not talking towards the taxes, even illicit money, are we talking because of a valid work? Yeah. You got it because I paid you double the deposit. Now you didn't return my deposit because I made a mistake. Yeah. That money, if it stays to you for the whole year, it's accountable to SARS. Yeah. So there's third-party verifications. Yes, even about Mama 10, the baby Mama 10. Nani go YouTube, you guys sit and say, oh no, as a YouTuber today I made 20,000. You sit and do
Natasha, so tell us what you 2008.
You told them. What? No, remember the case of Ubabu Hamilton?
No, that when you went to Devil July. Hey! I went to Macro, I bought washing powder in bulk.
You said on YouTube and said you made 20,000. So Sims, you need to go to SARS and go say SARS I made 20,000. Because you've told the public.
Saucy. I bought washing powder.
So where was I coming with this conversation? I'm saying, Buti, accountability when it comes to SARS is at you. Yeah. And because technology, I run a digital practice, guys. I employ no one in a physical office. Because technology has enabled us to do so much and so much better. Okay. And these tax systems are reaching out to other jurisdictions and knowing, because I'm in UK, no one knows. They are reaching out and mapping. Our systems are improving. SARS is such an efficient institution as Babong.
So we are basically becoming a global village.
We are. So I see Shuguti, if you are willing to take the penalties, take them. But currently, a lot of our people right now, Minaji, one of the biggest people that is saying, if how e-filing is working, you need to come to us and fix it up. Because a lot of people should have been automatically assessed. They don't have the admin, they don't need us. But because in the past, they didn't go and declare, they started jobs, they didn't do any declarations, all of those outstanding returns are catching up and they're earning penalties.
Damn.
Yeah. So it's important, this conversation of taking the responsibility for yourself. I'm not even making money. OTC business because again that element is there. I'm honest about it, man. You as an individual, you need to take accountability of your returns and learn the system. Information is publicly available. The acts are publicly available. SARS guides are publicly available. Our masterclasses will be publicly available. It is important that you take the time and educate yourself and get into the line because people are responding on your behalf. People are telling SARS that we made money. Let me send it to you.
Can you have it back? Can you have it back on set because we are also going to celebrate Nyana there.
Just to put taxpayers at ease.
Yeah.
My main aim when I fell in love with tax was to take away the taboo from tax, to re-tax tax. If we haven't been declaring, SARS have some mechanisms. You may win or not. khona ama-voluntary disclosure programs
Yeah,
uyicele wena ukuthi mina ngingakhokhi
Yeah.
sengicela ukuthi manje ngikhokhe kancane
Yeah.
noma sengibambile ngicela ukukhokha le kanje
Yeah.
because ukukhuluma bakubamba bona we don't talk anymore, we take your chairs, we take everything.
Yeah.
So that's
I also wanted to add on the fact when you don't take SARS serious, even if you have penalties, you try to ignore them.
Yeah.
If you are working for a certain organization, you are in corporate.
Yeah.
What SARS does is they go to corporate wherever you're working and tell them that you owe them a certain amount of money. And they no longer come to
They
you.
garnish you.
Yeah, they garnish you. So
Not the
they-
garnish you good, like not the one they put on top of your rice. The one that they just go to your account whether you like it or not.
Yeah, therefore they have an agreement with your employer that on a monthly basis there's a certain fee that the employer will pay over to SARS.
Yes.
Therefore your salary now is reduced. So it's better you declare to say, okay, I can't pay 20,000 penalties, but I can be able to pay at least 500 rand per month.
So it's better you go before they come.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they are coming.
At some point you see, maybe it bloom. So now, guys, because obviously this is just one session and we can't cover everything in one session, guys, I'm going to break down the schedule that the masterclass will be taking place on. Today's the 5th, ne? So today we did the engaging and opening of the tech season, ne? Especially we engaged on personal
Tax
income.
profiles, personal income
And then
tax.
today we spoke about the individual, right? And if you still need more information, you can book a consultation with the NXCA. Ne? But today is not just the last day of the masterclass. They will be back on the 12th of this month. We will be talking about the RIP5.
Employment
IRP5, tax codes and deductions. That's going to be another masterclass. Then on the 19th, we'll be back again. The class of the ABC of SARS e-filing and compliance. That's on the 19th. And on the 20th, it's going to be investments, pension and retirement funds. That's the masterclass on the 20th. Then on the 26th, we'll be talking about working abroad and earning an income. Now understand. Then we come to the second last class on the 27th, where it's experts and international people working in SA. How long muduli wakakwa? Uspadakamo. We want you.
They won't hear you though.
I say double. On Spratmetjo. Then on the 2nd of August, we've got trade, income, and business operations. Tina, I also my business, also my shishin, but on the 2nd of August, guys. That is the schedule. I'm also gonna post it on my community page. And guys, when we started this, we told you, Hori, SARS did their job and collected roundabout over there in the amount of 2 trillion. When I've never even seen 1 million in my life in cash. But SARS has collected trillions. 2 of them. We are going to be using proudly South African products to celebrate just the collection of the tax. We are not celebrating the spending because we know that it's going to go to the other people of green, yellow, and black. We're just going to celebrate the collection, guys. Can Natasha and you can guys do us the honor? We got some bonang in the house. We got some bloom of fire. Some people are wearing parts to shoes. South Africa is flowing on the stage, guys. So can we open some bubbly? Can we make the celebrations, guys? While we are celebrating, guys, don't forget to book your consultation with the NXCA. They are a network of qualified tax practitioners, chartered accountants, accountancy, bookkeeping, guys. Guys, book your consultation. Yes, this
Before we
Natasha.
close, because this is about the education and the platform you're gonna use. As NXCA Network, we have 0 subscribers. We opened the YouTube account because all the masterclasses going forward, they had a fee, but now they are all gonna be free on YouTube. Join us as the dates that Sims is talking about. We'll be live streaming and catching questions that are specific for the section we're talking to.
Yes.
Are we happy?
If you know we are not happy, if you want more than that, book
Okay.
Consultations.
And tell us, you heard us from Sims?
Yes.
You heard about us from Rwanda?
Yes.
Guys, imali ke iyasherwa. Imali iyasherwa. We have a cost as a business. I admit that very much.
Yeah.
But ke imali iyasherwa. So tell us if Sims is the one that introduced you to us. Tell us if Zwanda is the one that introduced you to us. I still respond because we're gonna make sure you are compliant and you make value out of SARS.
Yes.
You know what? Give me my secrets. It's just
You want to tell us?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, guys, we are going to open some. What are we celebrating? That South Africa is a tax-paying country.
To the 2 trillion rands that the country collected,
Each trillion is after a zillion only. Which one is bigger? Which one is bigger? Hey, I'm not enough.
Sassy, who trillion guys, you will know billion. Okay.
Hey, I'm not.
Bulan.